This episode of Shining with Kimchi Rednecks. Moonshine Dougie says, Sugar Shine.
Thank you, my man, for the assist. You was the best moonshine doggy ever.
So, we have done a moonshine video before on doing Sugar Shine video somewhere up above. But we figured it's been a little time. We
played around with
with
ways.
it a little bit, so we figured we'd do a new video for the new channel. Now, I will say up front that I originally got this concept from this channel, which I'll put on screen and link below, for the original idea. In terms of video editing, it's a hard video to watch, but there is some good info in it. I have extracted it, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Now, when you do sugar shines, there are many recipes for sugar shine. There's straight sugar and water. There's people that do the tomato paste. There's people that put raisins in it. There's the kale wash. There's all sorts of stuff people do to get nutrients into it so they don't overstress their yeast. This particular one, and the main takeaway I took away from the video that I originally watched, Napa Cabbage. We're in Korea. Napa Cabbage is everywhere.
Napa Cabbage is kimchi.
They make kimchi out of this stuff. So this is everywhere. What we're going to do is there's some weird seat of the pants redneck
He South Kakalaki mathed it.
equations going on, but we've got 8-ish gallons of water and 20 pounds of sugar. And it's going to go in this 55-liter container, which is roughly 13 and a half, 14 gallons. The first and most important thing is most of the water you can just heat up and put in the container. That's what we're going to do. You have to keep some water because you got to do a light boil and then a quick blanch on the cabbage. Then we're going to chop it up and we're going to throw it in a spice bag. That way it's easier to take out at the end. I mean, we don't have like half dissolved leaf sludge everywhere because that's no fun.
Leaf sludge is no fun.
No. Anyway, so we're going to get prepped and we'll be right back. So, things to mention, because we may not have mentioned them on the videos on this channel before. One is our water. Everybody tells you to use an RO water, the reverse osmosis water, or a distilled water, or a mineral water.
Ours is a natural mineral water.
This is a natural mineral water. We actually did try several brands of mineral water
before we
found one we liked. And this one, we're not going to tell you because it's ours.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Unless you have it turned around so they can see the label on this one.
I don't think so. Nope, totally not.
Good job, Chuck.
Anyway, and this particular recipe, we did the math on it once, and I believe it was you only needed between 450 and 550 grams of cabbage, but they sell them in these convenient little heads of cabbage, so we just chopped the whole thing up into about 5 or 6 big chunk pieces. And I mean, if you've ever blanched a vegetable, you throw it in hot water. When it turns like radioactive colored, you take it out, you throw it in cold water. See, even May knows that.
She also wanted you to know that she did not get to taste test this cabbage ahead of time.
Oh, no.
But she did look at it and approved it.
She said it passed the visual inspection.
That is, of course, Mayhem is our quality assurance doggy. For those of you who don't know, she quality assures everything in this household that she's allowed to.
And then, of course, there's our sugar bought from the Korean mart. So as soon as this water comes up to temperature, we're going to blanch some cabbage. And then we're just going to heat up the rest of the water and pour it in the bucket. I've got about 2.5 gallons of water in there that's room temperature. So between this stuff that we're blanching in and that stuff we're going to heat up to not quite boiling, we should average out to warm enough to melt sugar, and we're just going to pour all the sugar in there and stir it up because that's easy. So we'll do some B-roll of that, and that'll be here.
Okay, you got your cabbage? Oh, Mimi, here you go. Damn. And that is doggy kimchi.
All right, so our bag of blanched cabbage is in the water down there. That's room temperature water, so it ought to finish the blanching on it. And Melissa decided to melt all our sugar in the hot water on the stove, so there's 20 pounds of sugar and 2 gallons of water. So we're going to throw that in there, and then we're going to heat up some more water to finish it out, and then hell, this is Sugar Shine. We ought to be able to pitch yeast. All right, everybody. And for the most part, that's it. You blanch the cabbage to soften it. We put it in a little baggie so it stay contained, so when we take it out at the end, it's not a huge mess. Melted sugar into the water. The cabbage provides the nutrient. Now, you can always add a little extra nutrient as insurance. That is a good thing to add. It's kind of hard to over-nutrient your yeast because stressed nutrient smells terrible. Another thing I like to do, I got one of these little nylon filter baggies that we buy in Korea for the sink filter. Also works really well to put a little bit of crushed oyster shell in, just to make sure that your acidity doesn't get too high. It'll keep it balanced at that level. Now, as far as yeast goes, which I still have to bloom, but I've got them in here, I do a mix of a half teaspoon of standard daddy yeast and this Super Yeast Express that I got. Now, I've heard a lot of videos and I've read a lot of forum posts where people talk about not using turbo yeast. And this is kind of a turbo yeast, but turbo yeast is also a brand from Alcotech, I think. I've never used that specific brand, so I can't tell you. But this Liquor Quick Super Yeast Express off Amazon, I have never had a problem with this. It says it'll get up to 20% ABV in 7 days. And I think it comes with a little bit of nutrient powder in there with its own yeast. So I mix that half and half with daddy yeast, and honestly, the flavor that we get out of it, nice, pretty neutral, but not bland, if that makes sense. So I am gonna bloom this yeast, pitch it in our bucket of stuff here, and then we're gonna back it into the fermenting room. It is winter here in Korea at the moment, so I will be dropping I got a little 25-watt aquarium heater that I'll pop in there to keep it around 70, 75 degrees, somewhere in that range. And hey, we'll be back in a week or so.
All right, another video, another shot of the still running. So there we go. Nice little stream coming out. We're low 90s, so it ought to be able to hold for a while there. And of course, cold water pumping through the top there. So it took us about 2.5 weeks to get the mash finished off, just due to the colder temperatures in the winter, making everything run slower. But now we're running.
And we're back for the after action report. So, Sugar Shine. We got about 5 liters, or a little more than 5.5 quarts. Yeah, liters a little more than a quart. So about 5.5 quarts out of that.
But we didn't run the entire, we've not run the entire mash that we made.
We kept about 3 gallons out of it because 1, it wouldn't fit in the Digiboil, and 2, we still want to retest my vodka maker machine that we got. So now that we know that this mash, even though it took almost 3 weeks, is done all the way through and there's like nothing left in it to convert. We weren't really sure of that on the last one we run, so we may have run stuff that wasn't completely done through it. But that's neither here nor there. Out of what we put in the Digiboil, we got 5 liters out of it. At 105 proof was our final number. So I ran that all the way down to the hydrometer, and the Parrot was reading about between 50 and 60 when I pulled it, because that's when the flavor started to go. But, and this, I'm gonna put a picture up here somewhere. This jar is almost startlingly clear.
It's pretty. I mean, this is a jar that came from it, and it is definitely startling clear.
Yeah, and this one with the little designs on it, you get the little almost crystal-like refractions in it. It looks like little rainbows running through it. It's actually kind of cool. But that's Sugar Shine, y'all. It's easy. It's pretty simple. I mean, sugar and yeast, that's all it takes. Everything else is just gravy. You
made kimchi gravy?
That would, ooh. Ugh. That's a taste my brain refuses to accept.
His brain is over there like, blah.
It's like my brain just imploded. But all the extra stuff, the yeast nutrients, the additives, whatever, all that is just extra. That sugar and yeast is all you need. Well, and water, obviously, to get it going. And you can make a nice neutral spirit that you can use for other things. This is going to get used for something else. Stay tuned. Yeah, anything else to add on that? I mean, it's Sugar Shine. It's finished. It's easy. You can use it for infusions. You can use it to bolster up other alcohols.
I mean, sugar shine is it's just like vodka.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's just neutral.
It
It
depends on what proof you run it out to. This is a little low for vodka, but I think vodka's supposed to be like 180 or something like that.
well, I said it's like vodka. I didn't say this was vodka.
Well, true. Yeah, probably the easiest thing you can learn to distill. Now, because it's made with pure sugar, it's also the most likely to burn your face off when you drink it.
It is definitely hot.
It can be very, very bitey at certain proofs, so be careful when you're tempering it down.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're going to come up with something new for y'all soon. We have ideas. We'll see y'all next time. Like, subscribe, do the internet stuff.
Bye.
Call it a midlife situation, a moonshine.